Hey guys, I have an update on my Bronco Raptor. About a month and a half ago, that random noise. Started to appear. It got progressively worse the more I was driving it around, but I took it to the local Ford dealer, dropped it off. They heard the noise, but we were unable to determine exactly where the noise was coming from. It scheduled a time to bring it back in, and they did the set up a chassis ear and kind of played around with it, put it all over the vehicle. Still, they could hear it, but they could not determine exactly or pinpoint where it was coming from. So that required that they get a engineer involved, and so a field engineer came in, and basically they rode around. They put it in different spots, checked the turbos, checked transfer case, differential, exhaust pipes, all the way down, run the list of everything. All right, so, well, what did we determine? Well, the thing is, the engineer left and had left word for them to basically tear down the transfer case. And the reason that they decided to start with the transfer case is there was a presence of metal in the transfer case. So they called me and they said, hey, is it okay if we go ahead, since we've got it in, start to do the tear down process? And I'm like, yeah, by all means. So later in the day, somebody called me and said, hey, your vehicle's driving around. And I'm like, well, that's kind of impossible. It must be somebody else with a orange Raptor. And they're like, no, I'm pretty sure it's yours. And it's just riding around. And I'm like, well, that's weird. Well, about 30 minutes later, I get a phone call. It's actually the tech, Steven. And he is calling to inform me that they have figured out what the issue is. And I'm like, oh, this is fantastic. So basically, as part of the removal of the transfer case, you have to get, there's a lot of stuff to remove. You've got to get the sway bar out of the way. Drive shafts have to come out, front CV shafts. And engineer had requested that we remove the front drive shafts and see if the noise was still present after removal before we proceed with fully removing the transfer case and doing a complete tear down on it. Well, so when he gets over to the passenger side, he notices that the hub actuator cable is disconnected. And so he reconnected it, buttoned everything back up. So he hadn't got very far into the removal process, and then drove around and the noise is not present. So Steven figured it out here without getting too far into a teardown, which I greatly appreciate. Not only that, but he showed me exactly where this is at. So I'm going to try to get underneath here real quick and just show you. For whatever reason, this cable is really, there's not much extra give. So if you're disconnected and you get a lot of droop, it could become disconnected. I just want people to be aware of where this is actually located at, just in case you have a similar issue with your hub actuator starting to howl and make some crazy noise. So the weird thing about it is it makes the noise on the driver's side. So I suspect if you disconnect the other hub actuator, it may make the noise pass to this side. I can't tell you that for sure, but that was just kind of weird because we were thinking somehow it sounded all like this was coming out of the driver's side, but apparently the issue was this passenger side hub actuator. So let me show you where this is at. All right, so this is your hub actuator cable. This is where it would connect. I'm not actually sure. I have to compare that to the other side, but it just looks like it's just basically vacuum and that's it. So anyway, if that comes disconnected, you're gonna have issues. All right, so, but that's it. That's the issue. It is technically, there's nothing wrong with it now. Technically, there wasn't really anything wrong with it before. It just had those vacuum hoses had been disconnected. So anyway, thanks to Steven for taking time to go outside and show me. Deep down, I either thought it was going to be something catastrophic or it was going to be something super easy. It's never something in the middle. So thankfully for them, they didn't have to do a full tear down of the transfer case just to have a disconnected hose. But we found that, got the issue solved, and I am ready to live another day in this vehicle. Thank you guys for watching. If you have any questions, any concerns, comments about your Raptor or anything, throw it at me. I'm still learning. It's there's a lot of tech on these vehicles, and if you're going to use it and push it kind of harder, I feel like that's probably not going to be the first time something like that's going to happen. So just wanted to put that out there for you guys to be aware of if you ever run into some kind of strange noise while you're driving. Thank you so much.